Hello everybody, welcome to Read Your Reality with Reese. I am your host and outside again because I thought it'd be fun to just try a couple of these new locations outside the house, my studio. So that being said, there was a email that came to me about remembering who you are. How do you remember who you are all the time? Or at least in the email it said, how can I remember myself 80% of the time, right? And there was another question, which was not necessarily about your dream life. They were more about having fun as reality. Like what does that mean in terms of what they were asking, which was can I learn a language in a certain amount of time? Right? The time doesn't really matter. It's just that knowing that version of you who does speak that language already exists. How it unfolds is already perfectly laid out for you. Right? It doesn't really matter. So Neville Goddard actually has the phrase, or spoke the phrase, returning to your end, go to your end, that whole idea. And then your inner talking becomes your end, because your inner talking is directly related to who you are consciously being. You're always talking about who you are, right? Because that's what you're talking about. You're either the version of yourself talking about how other people are a certain way, or your inner talking is a reflection of you now knowing you are awareness. So what does returning to your knowing and returning to your end actually mean? Here's the thing. Your core identity is knowing you are awareness, remembering yourself as awareness. You see, even the idea of how can I always remember myself as awareness? How can I always remember myself as awareness? Neil Donald Walsh has the phrase, in the absence of that which is not, that which is not. Which means, when you remove context, context is removed. And the thing that it was contextualizing is also removed. Simple, if you remove up, down is gone. Because down is only contextual to up. If you remove right, you remove left. Why? Because the two things only have context to each other. So when you remove forgetting and you remove remembering, as in I don't want to forget this anymore, you are removing remembering. So what are you actually doing? Your own forgetfulness about who you are and then returning to the remembering of who you are is a manifestation of you knowing that you are awareness. You are experiencing the remembering of who you are. You are experiencing the knowing of who you are because you are giving it context. You are saying, I am awareness. I am choosing to remember myself as awareness, right? I am choosing to remember myself as awareness. I'm making a point of knowing myself as awareness. Because you do that, you actually create the experience of forgetting and then remembering. So even the idea of I want to remember myself 80% of the time is creating the experience of I'm forgetting myself 20% of the time, right? So you can drop it entirely. Go to that absolute knowing that I am who I desire to be right now, regardless if I forget it, regardless if I remember it, because remembering and forgetting make no difference. They're just two sides of the same coin. I'm the coin. I know I am the coin. Just like I don't remember my name all day long, but I know that I know it. Just like I don't remember that I am awareness all day long, I know that I am awareness all day long. And when it pops up, which is quite often, it's just another moment in the all experiencing of now. That's a loud bike. In the all experiencing of now that I am, right? That's just you remembering. So what's your core identity? What is this idea of returning to your end, right? It's the story of who you are. Awareness. It is the knowing that I am awareness. That is your end. Your end is knowing that no matter what it is you are desiring to experience, you are the entirety of it. You are literally every single part of it, right? Look at it like this. If you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be whatever, when you go to your end, you are imagining yourself already being that identity. Does that identity only have that singular frame? No. It's got a whole infinite lifespan, backward and forward, from birth till death, in an infinite number of ways. So when you imagine your end is never really a static thing. It's always changing and increasing the more aware you are choosing to become of that end, right? You're experiencing more of it. Another day in the life of being a lawyer, another day in the life of being a doctor. So what is your end then? The end is recognition of that identity itself. It's you being that identity right now, as reality, as that physical identity. Why? Because the experiencing, if you remove your awareness, just like as if you are that person, right? And you just go from a higher point of view here, and you just, in your mind, become aware of this reality and envision that physical you as a 3D, as a third person experience, this there, living that life that you want to be living. They live where you want to live, they're doing what you want to be doing. Just look at it like that. And an infinite number of days is now in your awareness of that person's life, that identity's life. That image exists from everyone's point of view exactly like that. They are being the point of view that they are being in that reality, seeing you from their point of view, living your dream life. From your point of view, that's who you are picking to be, and that's what you are picking to be. Who and what you are conscious of being, it's that, right? And your choice is basically you as awareness jumping in to what you have created within yourself. Jumping into that viewpoint. Think this is who I am now, this is who I choose to be. This version of reality that I am awake in. And you are awake in it. That's why when you imagine yourself in that reality, you can literally just be awake in it. Because you're awake. You are awareness. You know your awareness. So no matter what you are imagining, it literally just exists for you. That's why it feels like you have multiple ends. Why? It's just parts of the reality that are strung together, right? It's parts of the reality that are strung together that you are experiencing now. Somebody asked me, hey, can you learn a language? That's not necessarily like this blissful end that, you know, we typically imagine being a millionaire, being in a relationship, being this, that, whatever, right? But it is part of their end identity. Even if that desire isn't overtly, you know, blissful, speaking another language, it might be. But part of their end, part of their now desire, part of the experiencing of life that they are choosing is a version of them who already speaks that language completely, right? And that's the thing. So you don't necessarily go to a specific frame. You be an identity and remember yourself as that identity. You be that reality and remember the identity that's within the reality. Either way, doesn't matter because it's all in your awareness anyway. You're just choosing that physical viewpoint as awareness. That's who you are in every moment, right? So your thoughts about that, they don't matter. Why? Because you're going to have an infinite number of thoughts anyway. They don't matter. And what is a thought? A thought is just another experience from another life stream, right? A thought is nothing more than another experience from another life stream that you are one with. And of course you're one with it. You have to be one with the version of you that's doubting every 5 seconds, right? You are one with that identity who is doubting you. You are one with the identity that is doubting you exist. That's really cool, isn't it? That's a really cool way to phrase it. You are doubting and you are fearing the identity of you existing. Sorry. There is a physical version of you that is fearing and doubting you exist. There is a physical version of you that is fearing and doubting you as a consciousness, as the awareness, as your true self exist. That's all it is. You are doubting you exist. A version of you is doubting that you exist. But you know you exist. You know you are awake. You know you are awareness. You know that you are I am. You know that you are awake. You know that you are existing. So that doubt doesn't matter. That doubt no longer matters because you know you are awake. I love that actually. You know you are awake. You are nothing. You are only ever experiencing nothing more than a 3D version of you that doubts you exist. But you know you exist. And when I say no, I'm not doubting I exist, I'm doubting what I desire existing. You are it. You are your desire. You are literally your desire. It's made from the substance that you are. It's made from within you. Imagine as if you were Play-Doh and Play-Doh was conscious. And the Play-Doh made something like a castle or whatever it is. And it would be like the castle telling the Play-Doh, well, you don't exist. But you can see it. You are it. That's why it doesn't make any sense any longer. Because remember, you are not even the version. You are not even the version of yourself that is that 3D voice that says you don't exist. That's only one singular story that you can create and experience. The fact that you can create an experience and experience it is an indication that you are not that. It's a 3D version of you doubting you exist. That 3D version of you doesn't exist. The thing that doesn't exist in the way that you think it exists is telling you you don't exist, but you know you exist. I know I'm repeating that thing over and over again. I just happen to be quite excited by this. It's like a new fun line to realize that it has no power. I'm going to expand on that again, right? So remember, you are being everything, including all that. You are being I am and you are being I am not at the same time. You are being left and you are being right at the same time. You are being up and you are being down at the same time. And you are experiencing those concepts. Remember, you are the affirmation, the assumption, the imaginational scene altogether. Take a love story. Just take a love story or a horror story or action story, whatever. I am action. I am love. I am romance. This is a romantic story. That romantic story is broken up into characters, into pages, into events of emotional turmoil and joy as a story. It has characters and moments and circumstances and conditions and stuff like that there. That's you are the story manifest as the experience. You are also the experience. You are everything. There is nothing that you are not, except I am not, because I am not doesn't actually exist. I'm quite fascinated. Why are there so many noisy cars today? But that's reality, right? So, lastly, you are all of reality, right? You are already everything. You are already the version of yourself in your end. You are already everything you desire to be. There is nothing you are not. And when you are becoming more aware of things that you desire to be and that those things light them up. Whatsoever lights you up, light it up as the awareness that is the knowing of it. You are that reality. You are who you say you are, right? And remember, it doesn't matter. Things don't matter. I dropped this phone earlier I dropped my phone camera earlier because the wind pushed something and something fell, and I was like, you know what, I can start again. But why not? Just keep it in, see what happens. Who cares, right? Even my hair is driving me crazy. But yes, and that comes with the new circumstances and conditions when you choose something, when you choose to just do something, right? Things happen, things become more eventfully exciting for you. Yeah, sure, sometimes you don't prefer them, sometimes you don't really like them, and that's okay, but they don't prevent you from doing anything. It's just part of the unfolding. Like I decided to come outside and make a video yesterday and today, right? Good things happening. Wind is blowing, cars are just blaring past, right? My camera fell, all of those things, but they're all just there, part of reality creation, right? Even the idea of the phone dropping and me putting the video up, that just exists. Before I'm even finishing, you know that there's a finished version of this. Before I'm even finishing right now, I know that there's a finished version of people having watched it, people knowing the phone fell, people saying something or not saying something. I know all that exists. I also know none of it has any meaning without me. I also know that none of it has any meaning without me. I'm the one that I'm the one that gives it meaning, and the meaning I choose to give it is everything's perfectly unfolding. And that was quite funny. That's the meaning I'm giving it, right? So why not? And I left it in this. I left it in there as a point in the actual video, as part of the video. Whew. So remember, the three-dimensional you who doubts is doubting that you actually exist, but you know that you exist. So the three-dimensional you isn't you. It never was you. You are always awareness, creating the idea of a version of you that thinks you don't exist. Right? That's it. It's like you are standing in a room and someone outside the room who isn't there is telling you you're not in the room, but you are the room. You are even the person outside the room telling you aren't there. That's who you are. All of reality. And the more delusional you accept yourself to be as God, the more experiencing of delusionalness as reality is what you will experience. Somebody just said on the other video, you are not God and neither are we. How do you know that? How do you know you aren't God? Somebody told you aren't God, or you just came up with that belief on your own. So being God can be another belief. It's just that it happens to be true. Right? Somebody said, you are not God, neither are we. But how do you know that? How do you know you are not God? If you are God, surely, even with your idea of being God, you could make yourself forget completely that you are God, as only God would be capable of such a feat. So if I'm saying you are God and you have just made yourself forget, then you must realize the only reason you don't actually believe is because you have come up with reasons as to why you are not God, and you have just suddenly started to believe in those reasons. No, because there's bad things happening in the world. If I was God, why can't I just make trees grow faster? Why can't I just sprout wings and fly? Well, are those reasons actually true? Are those things you want to do? Is that why you are here, to sprout wings and fly? Or are you here knowing that you have chosen to be here as a physical form, as this physical identity, not to grow wings and fly, but to experience this specific vantage point as who you are, as an infinite human being? So often we try to not be human because we want to try and be something else, but most of the time it is to prove that we are not who we are. A bird is already God, being a bird, sprouting wings and flying. So is a caterpillar. A caterpillar is being God, sprouting wings and flying. It's already doing that. It's already doing that. God's already doing the thing that we think we need to be doing to be God. You as God are already doing those things. It's like, no, why can't I just grow gills and swim in the ocean? You as God already did that. You are not here to do that. Could? I have no idea. Human evolution is funny, right? Who knows who knows truly what the human beingness is perfectly capable of doing? I saw the other day someone, some scientist posted that we actually have 3 sets of teeth, and we have dormant genes about hibernation for things like that. So we are uncovering things about ourselves all the time, right? Because that infinite beingness of who we are already exists. But you, as awareness, exists right now. Anyway, that being said, not to veer off too much there to physics and biology, I think. Thank you all for being here. Much love, much light. And thank you for the questions. Thank you for the email. Thank you for the Facebook question, which I segregated into these things. Thank you for, if that person who says I am not God and you are not God either, thank you for that as well, because you are. It doesn't matter what you say, you still are God. Like, you're God saying I am not God, so it doesn't matter. Thank you for joining on the TikTok page as well, and checking out videos there. Just thank you in general. Much love to you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Love and light, and have a wonderful day. Bye.